Welcome to the Explainer. You know, English grammar can feel like a tangled mess of knots sometimes. Well, today, we're going to untangle some of the trickiest ones, and we'll use some visuals to make even the most confusing rules totally clear.
Have you ever just paused mid-sentence wondering, wait, should I say I did it or I have done it? If so, you know exactly what I'm talking about. And hey, we've all been there. So, in this explainer, our whole goal is to build up your confidence. We're going to clear up some of the most common mix-ups out there. All right, you ready? Let's dive in and turn all that confusion into some real clarity. Okay, first up, we're tackling what is, honestly, probably the biggest hurdle for a lot of English learners. And that is choosing between the present perfect and the simple past tense. When do you use which one?
Okay, so check this out. This slide really kind of nails the core difference, right? On the left, you've got this idea of discovering life on another planet. I mean, that could have happened anytime. The exact moment, not really important. But then you look over on the right, the first IBM PC. Bam, that's a specific event. We know exactly when it happened, 1981.
So here's the key takeaway, the big rule. The present perfect, that's your go-to for an indefinite time in the past. Think of it as sometime before now. The exact moment is either unknown or it just doesn't matter. The simple past, though, that's for a definite, specific time that you can point to.
And you know, I absolutely love this way of thinking about it. The simple past is like dropping a pin on a map. Boom, it happened right there at that specific time. But the present perfect, that's more like circling a whole region on that map. The action happens somewhere inside that circle, but we don't know, or maybe we just don't care exactly where.
This is a perfect example of the present perfect in action. When someone says, hey, your package has just arrived, do you care if it was at 10:02 a.m. instead of 10:01? No, of course not. The important part, the result, is that the package is here right now.
And then here's the perfect flip side. I played football with my friends yesterday. When did I play? The sentence tells you exactly. Yesterday. It's a finished action at a very specific, definite time. That is a textbook classic use of the simple past.
All right, moving on. Let's talk about how three little words, can, could, and may, can have a huge impact on our daily conversations. Seriously, from just talking about what you're able to do to making polite requests, these words are key.
So, let's start with the most straightforward one, ability. What are you able to do right now? For that, we use can. Simple as that. I can ride a scooter. It's just a statement about what you're capable of doing in the present.
And could? Well, could just takes that exact same idea of ability and plops it right into the past. It's all about what someone was able to do at some earlier time. So Ali could swim when he was 5. Hey, who knows? Maybe he can't anymore.
Okay, so now we're going to shift gears a bit from ability to permission. And for this, we use both may and can. Now, what's the difference? It really just comes down to formality. May I sounds a lot more formal and polite than just saying, can I?
And finally, requests. This is when we're asking someone else to do something. You know, can you help me is totally fine, but if you want to dial up the politeness, could is your best friend. Could you fill in this form, please? See how much softer and more polite that sounds?
All right, you ready? We're heading into our most advanced topic now. We're stepping into the world of what-ifs. This is all about how you talk about hypothetical situations in the past, you know, things that didn't actually happen, and then imagine the different results they might have led to.
This kind of sentence, it's called a third conditional, and it is incredibly powerful. It lets us look back at the past, maybe explore some regrets, and just imagine a totally different outcome. So in this example, the reality is he didn't work hard and he didn't get an A. But with this sentence, we're imagining the total opposite. So let's break down the actual formula, the blueprint, so you can start building these sentences yourself. The if part of the sentence, the condition, uses the past perfect. That's just had plus the past participle of a verb. Then the result part uses would have plus another past participle. That's the basic recipe. Now this is where it gets really interesting. A tiny little change in the structure can completely change the meaning to talk about a present result. So look at the one on the left. A past action that didn't happen, I didn't get enough money, is affecting my ability right now to buy a phone. Now compare that to the sentence on the right. The missed action, not studying, led to a missed past result. See that? The whole thing is locked in the past.
Wow, okay. We have covered a lot of ground, haven't we? We've gone from past tenses to polite requests and even jumped into these imaginary what-if worlds. So let's pull it all together into a handy little toolkit that you can look back on anytime.
And here it is, your quick cheat sheet for that past tense puzzle. Is the time indefinite or unimportant? Boom, use the present perfect. Is the time specific and known? Use the simple past. Really, it's that simple.
And for our politeness code, it's just as easy to remember. For ability, you've got can for the present, could for the past. And when you're asking for permission or making a request, just remember that may and could are your go-to options to sound a bit more formal and polite.
You know, at the end of the day, mastering these rules isn't about passing a test or getting a good grade. It's about empowering yourself. It's about being able to communicate more clearly, more precisely, and honestly, just more confidently in any situation you find yourself in. And that brings us to one final thought to leave you with. Here's a little challenge, a question to get you practicing these new skills today. I want you to think about this. What is one thing you could have done differently yesterday, and what would you be able to do now if you had? Your answer to that question? Well, that's your first step to truly mastering the world of what-ifs.